children living like lovers.
Okay, that's enough of that. Hey guys, what's up? Big Jack Films here, and I'm fucking tired, guys. I'll give you guys an update of what's going on. I just want to give you guys a little live stream before we start. And yes, if you're wondering about the red mark on my head, I got sunburned, basically. Very hot summer weekend, basically. So, yeah, guys, welcome to this little live stream. And the reason I am so tired is because I have been hungover and recovering for the last 48 hours per se, because we just had Anime North this weekend, which was the biggest con for me of the year. So for me, that was a huge thing last weekend, and that's why I've actually kind of been out and not been able to get some stuff done and whatever. So here's the thing. So Anime North, I just want to give a little overview of it. Overall, I liked it. I really enjoyed it. It was better than last year, but it still felt a little, I guess, off per se, because it was just kind of fading a little bit. So, yeah, and if you're wondering about the hair, I've got it kind of tied back because it's starting to get in my face and I need a haircut soon. So that's why the hair is a little shorter, is because I got it kind of tied back like a goddamn samurai. So, yeah, that's essentially what's happening. So, yeah, I really had fun at Anime North. It was it was a really great time with friends. Wonderful seeing a lot of the people there and everything, which was fantastic. I loved it. A lot of partying too, because I got pretty crazy that weekend, which is awesome. In terms of updates, now that I'm pretty much in my 48-hour recovery, I've pretty much done that. I'm finally going to be getting back to work, so you will be expecting more videos in the coming days. I'm finally going to start getting back on the 100th episode, which is fantastic because there's a lot to go through. And again, I'm really at the point where videos are just going to get done when they're done, and eventually you will see the 100th episode down the line, but we're slowly taking the process. So a couple things that have happened this week. Obviously, you saw me and my friend Kendra. We did a review of George of the Jungle for an opening night retrospective because she wanted to watch it, and it was before we left for Anime North. So we basically did that, which was a lot of fun. That was really good, and we were kind of a little drunk, I will say, that day, which was pretty fun. You saw that, obviously. There was not really any videos on Friday, unfortunately, or Thursday, for that matter. Or actually, we did put a video out Thursday, which was my reaction to Brock's review of my own Kong fan film, and you will be seeing part 2 tomorrow, believe it or not. You will be seeing part 2 tomorrow, so that's a plus. So that's what's been happening there. And then just basically, I'm hoping to see Godzilla Friday. So for those who are wondering about my opinion on Godzilla, so far, from what I've seen, it's looking phenomenal. I know some critics have been 50-50 because they wanted to focus on the people, but guys, we go to see a Godzilla movie because of the monsters fucking shit up. Who cares about the people, honestly? And there's 2 critics that I actually know are hardcore Godzilla fans that I'm actually, have pretty much given me positive vibes. The first one being Movie Bob. Movie Bob's review of Godzilla King of the Monsters so far is probably the most positive. And I know Jeremy Johns and Chris Stuckerman were very mixed. The one I'm looking forward to the most is actually James Rolfe's opinion, the Angry Video Game Nerd at Cinemassacre, because if there's anybody who's really gotten me into Godzilla, especially a real boost of it, it was James in Cinemassacre with his Monster Madness of Godzilla-thon back in 2008, and he's since then kept up with the franchise at this point. So for me, yeah, I will more than likely wait to see what his opinion is before I make a full judgment, even though I will be seeing the movie hopefully on Friday. I'm hoping to maybe see it with my dad. And on top of that, I actually might go see it a few times because from what I heard, this is the Godzilla movie we've been waiting for. This is one of the best Godzilla films in a long-ass time. And some are saying this is the film to see of the summer. In fact, people are saying this is more of a film to see in the summer than Endgame. People are saying it's actually better than Endgame, and that is shocking to me because everybody loves Marvel, but you know, not many people are into Godzilla, but this is actually really starting to catch up. That this is supposed to be the big event of the summer, which I'm okay with because I want to see giant radioactive dinosaurs and giant moths and giant three-headed golden dragons from outer space beat the shit out of each other. So that's all great. And yes, I have listened to the score. That was one of the things I was looking forward to being released. I will say this, it is probably, in terms of the original themes, most notably Godzilla, the Godzilla theme by the iconic Akira Ifukube. This is probably my favorite cover of the original Godzilla theme. I am so, even if the movie is not the best, I don't know, let's see what happens. The score is worth the price alone to hear the classic Godzilla theme with the chanting and the epic scale for a Hollywood film. It's taken over 20 years, and it's about damn time that we hear the classic theme, and I love it. I even love the Mothra theme, which is absolutely gorgeous and also pays tribute to the native ceremony music of 1954, which is great. My only wish is that they did have the Twin Fairies. From what I heard, they're not in the film, and that we did have the iconic Mothra theme. Like the lyrics, you know, Masurai, Masura. I was really hoping for that, but for what we got, it's fine. Although somebody on YouTube did take the original Twin Fairies and actually add it to the theme, and I actually think it works a lot better. But the Godzilla theme has been in my head forever, and I love it, and it's gonna be great. So, in terms of Godzilla, that's coming. What else can we expect? Well, actually, believe it or not, guys, thanks to Anime North, I want to actually give a big props to Anime North. They actually held a pretty good event this year. And, you know, I'm hoping that it'd be great to actually get a panel and like a guest appearance there at some point, because I'm a big anime person and I would love to host something there, which would be great. Some bad news, guys. Unfortunately, there was no convention adventure this year. I just didn't have the time. I was just too busy partying. However, if you guys would like to see what Anime North entailed for us, what we enjoyed, go check out our Facebook page and our Twitter and Instagram. We've been posting photos of our cosplays, and we've gotten a lot of recognition. We've gotten a lot of a lot of followers on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter that have been following us thanks to showing the costumes. There were some pretty good highlights in terms of cosplays this year. Some of my cosplays actually got some recognition. I had Puppet Jockin on me. I had my Michael Keaton Batman cosplay, which fell apart completely. I couldn't stand in that for probably more than 2 hours. But in terms of like best cosplays for me that I saw this year, there were some good ones. There was a lot of Dragon Ball ones this year. A couple of Inuyashas, which is a plus. Obviously, one of the big ones was JoJo. There was JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, which I haven't watched, guys. Bear in mind, I'm not a big JoJo person. I haven't gotten into it, although all my friends are into it. Okay, one of the best ones. There was an amazing Evangelion cosplayer who was in the full robot suit, and it made it thin enough to fit his body, and it looked phenomenal, and I actually want to get a hold of this guy, only because I would love to do something Evangelion with him at some point. The other favorite cosplay, there was an amazing Voltron cosplay, like the full Voltron suit. That was phenomenal. There was an AT-ST cosplayer, the Chicken Walkers from Star Wars, and that guy was phenomenal. There were so many great cosplays this year. It was great. I didn't really buy much, although I did actually receive a few gifts from a few of my comrades, a few of my guys that I actually hang out with. First of all, my buddy Vince, really great guy, great photographer, had actually gifted me with a few of the recent Jurassic World toys. So he gave me a ton of Gallimimus figures. He gave me a Sticky Malik. He gave me a Raptor, obviously. And one of the ones he actually gave me was one of the T-Rex figures, one of the new Mattel T-Rex figures that I have in my collection now, and it looks great. I love the figure. I'm hoping to get the original, like the first T-Rex figure they made. I know there's the one that kind of does the quick turn action, but I'm not a fan of that figure. I more just want the original, which is, I'm waiting for it to go like really low price at this point. Actually, funny enough, I was in a Toys R Us today, and they had those, as well as in the Power Rangers section, they had some of the Legacy Power Morphers still. They had one of the originals, and they had a lot of Green and White Ranger Morphers, a Tommy Morpher, which was kind of cool. I was tempted to buy that, but I didn't. So, yeah, there's that. That was great. And my buddy Jim, who is actually, if you guys saw my Instagram page, he is one of the head Muppeteers at the Jim Henson Group here in Canada. So whenever they need him to promote Kermit the Frog, he will do the puppeteer for him. So whenever he goes around with Kermit, it's literally Kermit. It's a legit Kermit the Frog. It's not like any kind of fake one. This is a legit prop Muppet. So it's always great to talk to him. He gifted me with a few of the King Kong the King Kong show DVDs. So the 2 DVDs that were released for the King Kong show, which was the Rankin Bass cartoon, I finally have those in my collection now. I've really struggled to get those, but they sit proudly on my collection of Kong DVDs, and now I feel like I'm getting close to completing that for myself. But yeah, so that's all fantastic. That's all great. In terms of like what I bought. Also, one of the better cosplays there was actually my buddy Joshua Patello, the Endgamer64, did a excellent Seto Kaiba cosplay from Yu-Gi-Oh! He's sort of gotten me into Yu-Gi-Oh! A little bit again, although I was very much a casual viewer. I didn't collect the cards. I mean, I played the game once or twice. I saw the movie in theaters. I watched the show occasionally. I thought it was an okay show out of all the collect-them-all animes, essentially. But he's kind of gotten me back into it, and that's mostly because he's, me and him are working on doing a review of the first Yu-Gi-Oh! Movie, The Pyramid of Light, because it's something I guess from a casual perspective, it's a good review for us to do down the line. So we're currently working on that. We are also going to start production on the Star Wars prequels. We're going to start shooting. Actually, I'm going to try to get this Sunday going, only because Sunday is a good time to shoot at the certain location that I kind of hint at. That could be either Tatooine or Jakku. So I'm not going to give away any spoilers, but we found a desert planet, and we're going to be shooting a small little shoot. That's going to be basically the first day shooting the Star Wars prequels, and we're hopefully going to get started on that this Sunday. So that's when production will officially start. Aside from that, I've basically been also been kind of into buying DVDs. I've been buying a lot of DVDs, but also I've been really getting a kick out of going, because I went downhill here at the studio, and I went into our old shed where we keep a lot of our prop weapons and stuff for productions. And I just see a lot of these swords and stuff, like these sword props that we've had just laying there. And I pulled a few of them out, and I'm going to be like repairing them and using them for future cosplays, because I've got a lot of swords. I've got like a fuckload of swords. I feel like Coach McGurk in that episode of Home Movies where it's like, oh, those are awesome. No, they're not awesome. There's a big difference between awesome and extremely expensive. It's like, where'd you get the money to buy all those swords? I don't have the money to buy all those swords. Well, what do you gotta do? I gotta return them. Why? Because I don't want swords, Brendan. So yeah, just if you're wondering, this is one of the prop swords I have. So I've been on a bit of a sword kick, honestly. I've been on a bit of a sword kick. So for me, that's been all fun and dandy. But yeah, so we're gonna get back to work tomorrow. Everything's gonna be starting to get back into probably try to get more of a regular schedule going, and hopefully something comes up. So there's that. So now that you've gotten the updates, now that we are in the post-con blues, before I answer questions, I am drinking Dr. Pepper. Rarely do I drink Dr. Pepper, but I've been kind of on a kick, I guess, because Godzilla's coming out, and this is the one soda drink I know Godzilla drinks. So, I actually might get a Dr. Pepper when I go see the movie. That'd be funny. Like, just have a big Dr. Pepper on me. Like, hey, look! I'm referencing Godzilla 85! Okay. But yeah, before we get started, I have unable to do a fan mail fanatics for a while, so instead of doing that on a separate video, I'm going to say fuck it, and I'm going to just read this. Now, I've had this for a while. I just haven't opened it. And it's fan mail from one Javon Vogt from Fort Dodge, IA. I don't know where IA is. Is that in, like, Indiana or something? I have no idea. But he sent us some fan mail, so we're going to see what the hell's in here. I have no idea. Oh, God, I hope it's not anthrax. Oh, that'd be terrible. That'd be a terrible live stream. So, we're going to see what the hell's in here. And we have a letter, obviously. So, let's see what our buddy has said here. Again, I don't know what's in here. So, holy shit, this is a lot. Okay, so, he sent us a massive... Oh, wow, okay, we'll get to that in a sec. He sent us a massive letter, so let's read this out loud. Dear Jack, Also, my name is Jevon, or Javon. I'll just go with Javon. My name is Javon. I'm writing this fan mail because I want to talk about my idea of a King Kong / Son of Kong and see what you think. So King Kong will take place in 1933, and the film will be like the 1996 film Jackson wanted to make. Kong will look like Mighty Joe Young from the 1998 film, and the other creatures will be the T-Rex, Brontosaurus, Carnotaurus, Raptor, Alligator, Giant, obviously, Swamp Monster, Triceratops, and I'm still thinking of more. Here's a little advice for anybody who's been messaging me about King Kong remakes and so on, kaiju remakes. If you're ever doing a sort of retelling of Kong, obviously add dinosaurs you want to add, and maybe some iconic ones, but don't put too many, because I've noticed so many people are putting too many dinosaurs in their Kong remakes, and it kind of overrides Kong himself. So I'd say the minimum amount of species that you show, about 5. That would be my limit, essentially. But there's that. I'm still thinking of more. This movie will be an adventure movie, and Kong, I want him to be 50 foot, and the characters are Anne, and we'll have the special connection to Kong. Okay, that's obvious. That's an obvious thing. Will be the last of his kind, like Skull Island, and finally there will be an end credit scene with something in the jungle, with what looks like Kong running, but we only see his shoulder, and it steps into the mud, and there's a footprint, and the mud, and hang on. The screen goes black, and we hear the mighty Kong roar, and now for Son of Kong, I want him to be 25 foot tall, so about the same size as Peter Jackson, and he will look like an albino variation of the Mighty Joe Young from 1998, and again, he will have a special connection with Anne. Yes, some of the characters will return. Carl is now forced to work for the government. So basically, you're going to do what Peter Jackson was going to do in the April Fool's joke. Now, for everybody who's asking me about the April Fool's double bill that Peter Jackson was going to make, I do have plans to actually finally break down and review that, and that's going to be probably April Fool's next year. Only because I figured that'd be a good time to talk about it. So, look forward to that in come 2020. And then want to sail to Skull Island to use the creatures and weapons as they forced Ant and Jack and some other characters to come with them, and so on and so on. So, yeah, it's pretty much the same adventure story. Oh, and there's more in the back. And when they get there, the natives say Kong's legend still lives, and Carl says he is sorry for Kong, and the cruel battle of the tribe. So this is pretty much a whole plot, essentially, so I just want to get kind of down to the base of it. So it's pretty much, like, I guess the Son of Kong sequel pretty much has first movie-itis. This is something where, like, Chris Columbus suffers with this, where he'll make Home Alone 1, and then he'll make the same movie, but in a different setting. He'll do the same with Harry Potter, where he'll do the first movie and then do the first movie all over again. So this pretty much feels like the same freaking movie, but that's actually kind of cool. And obviously he wants to add things like mammoths and saber-toothed tigers and so on. I hope you enjoyed the past comment on the video you made about your thoughts on so on. Also, I sent fan art, sincerely, Javon. P.S. You're one of my favorite YouTubers. Keep up the good work. P.P.S. I also like Kong76. Thank you so much, Javon. This is actually a really nice one. I want to say thank you. I know I get a lot of fan mail talking about Kong himself, so that's always nice to hear from a lot of the fans and stuff. And that's okay. Your spelling's fine, everything. But this is a very nice letter. In terms of what you want to do, that's the thing. Just do your own thing, honestly. And I really appreciate everybody a lot of people have actually come up to me and said that my remake inspired others to do the same. And if I can accomplish inspiration, I've set out what I need to do. I've accomplished enough. So now I just do, for my work for you guys. I do it for my job and everything, so I love it. And Javon has sent us this fan art, and it's King Kong, I guess, on top of a building. And this is actually, I really like this fan art. Look at this. It's a nice little pen sketch. It's really cute. Kong looks like Jack Skellington. This looks like a Tim Burton sketch, okay, don't give Tim Burton any ideas. Don't make Tim Burton's King Kong, because that would be terrible. Probably cast Johnny Depp in it or something. And yeah, we are really blurry right now. Hang on a sec. Let's get that focus back. There we go. So yeah, so really nice fan art from Javon. This is going to be pinned up on our wall. We have all our fan up here. And yeah, we're going to keep this letter. So thank you, Javon. Fantastic letter. Thank you so much. We always appreciate it. And of course, guys, if you guys want to send us fan mail, donations, and so on, you can send it to us at this address, Big Jack Films, P.O. Box 326, Queensville, Ontario, L0G1R0. We'd love to hear from you guys and do more fan mail fanatics at some point. So, with all you've just learned on this video that I've made for educational purposes, we are finally going to start answering questions. So, welcome, Inuyasha Dinosaur 101. Don't worry, you are not late. We are just getting started on questions. You're welcome for getting... Yeah, thank you so much, Rice Duke. Guys, go subscribe to Rice Duke. He's actually one of our big writers and producers on the show. He's a really great talent. He's appeared in a couple of our videos. Into Game of Thrones, he is the guy to go to. Definitely go to Rice Duke. His Game of Thrones videos are fantastic, and he gives out some really good perspectives, especially if you're a fan of the show and are into fantasy, Star Wars, and so on. So, guys, go subscribe to Rice Duke. Great guy. Great guy overall. So, let's answer a few questions, shall we? And actually, very, very quickly before we start, I just want to point out that lately I've actually been getting a lot of... because of Anime North and because of all the cons I've been going to, a lot of cosplayers have been coming up to me and saying they want to do videography. They want me to film their cosplays and do videography. So, I'm actually pretty much going to do that. I'm going to be doing sort of a, I'm going to be starting to do little test videos, doing some volunteer work, and hopefully that can become a little bit of a job for me, because I've always been, I know a lot of cosplay con goers do photography. I've always been more into videography and doing more video-based stuff, so I'm hoping at some point to do more if you guys saw the No Face video, the experimental film I did, that's kind of what I want to do more of, is just do more of these sort of kind of coming up with creative shots with characters and so on, and just kind of come up with something really cool. So that is definitely something I'm going to be starting to do, and I think I have my first client on Saturday, so that's going to be a plus. So there's that. So yeah, let's get to some questions. I don't know how do I do this, the chat here. Is this the chat? Top chat. No. Okay. Would you want to see a Superman 5 with Christopher Reeve and adapts the death of Superman? I actually would have been okay with that. I think, like, had Christopher Reeve stayed in better condition, unfortunately he did fall off a horse and he was paralyzed, and he obviously did pass away. If Christopher Reeve decided to do more Superman movies after The Quest for Peace, I would have been okay with that. And you know what? Here's the thing with the Superman movies, especially 3 and 4. I hate 3. I love 4. 4 is better than 3. So, I know 4 is a low budget, but I really enjoy Superman 4. That's actually one of my personal favorite films in the Superman franchise, because it's just a straightforward Superman movie. What anime dub do I like? This is a very good question, Ike Studios. In terms of companies, there's only really 2 I really like. The first one being Funimation. I still like Funimation and what they do with their dubs. I will not get into the controversy surrounding Funimation, because that is way too much drama, and I'm trying to avoid drama. If it's not Funimation, it's Ocean Studios in Vancouver. So, those are my 2 personal favorites. Ocean Studios actually provided the voice dubbing, English dub work for my favorite show of all time, Inuyasha. I've actually been watching a lot of Inuyasha today, and that poster is actually really crooked. But to the point. So, Ocean Studios has always been one of my favorites, especially the fact that a lot of these voice actors are Canadian. If it's not that, it's actually, I think, Cloverway or Deke Entertainment, because a lot of their voice work, they worked on Inspector Gadget, they worked on, obviously, Sailor Moon, that was a big one. But what's really great about that, because that shit was my childhood, right? Sailor Moon was my childhood. What I really like about that is that the entire show, the first English dub from the 90s, was actually dubbed in-house in Toronto, in actually Mississauga. And for me personally, that actually adds a lot more special appreciation for the show, because as a kid, you know, you watch the show and you just see these Sailor Scouts kick so much fucking ass, and, you know, you think they're you know, living among us, just making the world a better place and fighting evil and shit. Fighting evil by moonlight in a way. So, in that sense, the fact that it was dubbed in Toronto makes me think, childhood-wise, that, yeah, they were defending my city, which was fantastic. They were my Spider-Man. They were my Batman, essentially. They were looking after us, essentially. Even though it's in Tokyo, from my perspective, it felt like Toronto, which actually made it a lot more special. Like, if I did a live-action Sailor Moon movie and we had to Americanize it, I would probably shoot it in Toronto. Because rarely does Toronto get any attention in film in terms of big-budget movies. So I would give Toronto its full glorious attention. You know, it would be the New York for the Sailor Scouts, essentially, equivalent to the Avengers. So that, and so yeah, so those are my 3 in-house production companies in terms of who do English dubs of anime. Let me give you some advice if you ever watch Attack on Titan. One day I made the English dub, okay, the roar is awful. Okay, Attack on Titan is something I've kind of been curious about, but the reason I've actually kind of avoided it for so long, only because I'm not a big steampunk person. I think it looks cool. Steampunk is awesome, don't get me wrong, but it's just never been my thing. So steampunk and kaiju is just kind of a mixed feeling. Unless Godzilla shows up, if it was like Zone Fighter where Godzilla showed up, then I'd be okay. David has a great question. What would you do a prequel series to your Big Jack Films reviews? I actually am kind of planning that. I don't know how I would do it. There is going to be, bear in mind, guys, the 100th episode is actually sort of a prequel, because it does go through a ton of backstory that kind of explains where we are currently now on the show. It goes through a bit of a back history, and I'd say this backstory in the 100th episode takes place maybe about, I want to say maybe a year before the show started, so around 2012 is when, like, that timeline starts, like, that backstory starts. But there's more to that, because something we do mention constantly in the show is mention of something called the Great War. Now, the Great War, I won't get what it is, but it's obviously a massive war that took place. And the idea is that this war took place 15 years ago. Actually, in the timestamp, I'd say the Great War took place around 2002, 2003. So add that up. I don't know how long ago, but the time frame is around 15 years in the past. Is when the Great War ended and peace and prosperity reigned on the real world. So I will give a minor spoiler that the Great War, we've been building up what this is and what the hell it is. We do want to do a backstory on it, but at some point, I think the Great War might come back, meaning like the war will actually pretty much hit us again, and it'll pretty much be the continuation of that Great War, and that's pretty much going to lead into season 5. Is going to be more battle-oriented storylines, so that's going to be something really cool. But there's a whole backstory in terms of, you know, why my character, in terms of myself as a character, started doing movie reviews and why he started doing that, and we're going to be going through a whole back history on that, because there's a lot more to my character than just a dorky kid with glasses and with a bunch of goofy shit reviewing movies he loves. So there is going to be more backstory. There is going to be more backstory, more history to where everything started, and we're going to start that. You're going to see really the first hint of that in the 100th episode. We've kind of wanted to start doing that for a while. We figured we're really going to get shit, because we've been kind of building it for a while, but we know shit is really going to hit the fan in the 100th episode. That's kind of what you can expect. So in terms of when it comes out, again, I'm still working on it. We're kind of on the last stages of part 1 and 2. We're just waiting for one more scene to be completed, as well as, hang on, I'm just getting back into focus. We're waiting on a few more voice acting works and a few more bits of special effects and animation. So definitely look forward to that down the line. And wow, we're only a half hour in. Gave your Kong fan film a 10 out of 10. Thank you so much, Nobody123. Hey, Jack, what are your feelings about the bad criticisms of Godzilla King of the Monsters right now? I really don't care, because the critics obviously want to see a totally different movie, whereas us Godzilla fans just want to see monsters fuck shit up. And from what I've heard from, it's very half and half. Half of them don't like it because it doesn't involve enough human characters. But the other half says it's the best Godzilla film of all time, because only because it's essentially, you know, like the best action oriented, like Hollywood finally got it right. For me, The first critic that I actually did really give me positive vibes was Movie Bob. I felt his opinion was extremely valid. But the one we're all, let's be honest, like every critic's gonna have an opinion, but you know whose opinion honestly matters the most? James Rolfe of Cinemassacre. When he does his review, then we can all agree what the verdict is on this new Godzilla. Because he is the one. Because again, I want to bring this up. James Rolfe was such a pioneer in the early days of YouTube. He not only pretty much pioneered the online reviewing platform here on YouTube, he pretty much pioneered the biggest thing in the YouTube community, the gaming industry. I don't think the gaming industry would be as big, if not better, and the nostalgia, even nostalgia stuff, all our childhoods essentially coming back this decade are all because of James. So we have to give major props to him that he pioneered the way people do YouTube now, like in terms of like reviews, gaming, and and like nostalgic stuff of our childhood. So I'm waiting to see what he has to say. And James is a friend of mine, so I'm waiting to see what he has to say about the film. And then we'll decide. The other two, obviously, there's Chris Kaizen, who is also known as Goji Fan 93. I want to see what his opinion is. I want to see what Brendan Terrell's opinion is. I want to see what D-Man 1954's opinion is. And I want to see what my buddy Kaiju Network's opinion is. I really want to see what he has to say about it in terms of this new Godzilla movie. So, because he actually holds Godzilla 2014 close to the chest. He says that's his favorite film, which, yeah, it's a good film, but I don't know if it'd be my favorite. Should I go stop motion animation with my fan film with the Mattel dinosaur figures? And also with the script of my film, would you say Pachyrhinosaurus or whatever? I'd say go stop motion. That'd be a cooler way of doing it. I don't know how you do that with the Inuyasha figures, because unless you pull a robot chicken where you have to, like, modify them, I don't know seeing how that could work. But, yeah, I'd say stop motion. Say Big Jack Films, what do you think of this Godzilla BC idea that Dougherty has thought up? So basically, Godzilla... From what I don't know really much about it, but from what I can gather, it's probably like Godzilla BC, meaning it's a whole prequel that kind of talks about Godzilla in ancient times. I don't know about that. I'd say, if anything, unless they explain that Godzilla was originally a Godzillasaurus, and that the bombs went off, and that's what made him a giant god. I really don't know, honestly. I really don't know, because for me, when it comes to the true origins of Godzilla, for me, Godzilla has always been a dinosaur mutated from the atomic bombs of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, while King Ghidorah is a three-headed golden dragon from outer space. That's just kind of the origins for me in terms of the new Godzilla, in terms of Godzilla himself. Jack, I keep hearing everyone ever does, but what is Ebola? Okay, Nobody123, Ebola is a disease that's really bad. Go watch Angry Grandpa's prank video on that. It'll give you an idea of what the hell that shit is. And I don't know I've never experienced that, thank God, but at the same time, it's like, I hear it's really bad, but that's all. It's shit. That's all I'm gonna say. What's my favorite Shrek movie? None. I hate Shrek. I really don't like Shrek. I'm not a fan of that stuff. I'm really not a fan of Shrek. I've really kind of grown out of it. It's when you see what went on behind the scenes, especially in the first one, it is a very mean-spirited production. So, never been a fan, and the internet ruined it for me. Essentially, that's my opinion. And also, guys, actually, thank you so much to Ike Studios for the Super Chat donations. We really appreciate that. All the money does go help the show. It does go help finance the productions and everything and budgeting. Angry Grandpa was a really great YouTuber, and I say that was because he's dead. What was the last? Okay, let me just see what the last question is. How do I put on the chat? Try to figure that out. Okay. Have I ever heard of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures? Yes, I have, and I've never watched it, but all of my friends are into it. I don't get it. Like, I don't think I think I'd be way too confused. But there's just so much on JoJo. Everybody's talking about it, but for me, I think I'm a little too late to the party, essentially. Because there's just way too much of it, in my opinion. There's just way too much JoJo. But maybe at some point, maybe someday I'll take a look at it. I don't know. I know also My Hero Academia is a big one, too. It's a big anime that a lot of people are into. Have you ever seen the movie Galaxy Quest? Yes, and I hated it. I'm not a big Tim Allen fan, to be honest. Never liked the Santa Claus, never liked Galaxy Quest, I hated Zoom. Zoom was terrible, and because I remember the screening I went to see it, you saw the boom mic in every shot. That's how bad it was. They shouldn't have called it Zoom, they should have called it Boom. Not even Puss in Boots? Okay, Puss in Boots is really the only character I like because he's Antonio Banderas, and he's pretty much being Zorro as a cat. I'm okay with that, but everything else I just don't like about Shrek. Let's see here. If you made a big budget King Kong film, who would you cast to play Jack Driscoll? Really, at the moment, I can't think of anybody too big for that part. I think if anything, I would cast maybe, like, I know, what was it, there was one person who did an amazing kind of fan film fiction, idea, and he cast Nathan Fillion as, Jack Driscoll. It would either be him or Chris Pratt, probably. Zoom is basically the verse version of Sky High. Yes, it is. It's a terrible fucking movie. Sky High was better. What film got you to like Pachyrhinosaurus? That was probably, Pachyrhinosaurus. Was that the one with, like, kind of more the bone horn than it was the sharp one? I think that would have been Disney's Dinosaur really introduced me to Pachyrhinosaurus. So that would be me. Pachyrhinosaurus, my first introduction to that dinosaur was Disney's Dinosaur, and I liked it. That was great. Hey, Jack. Hey, Jack the Great. Oh, thank you. Oh, great, Jack the Great, our Prometheus. What fire of knowledge do you bring to us mortals today? Which film would you prefer, Valley of Gwangi or Golden Age of Sinbad? Valley of Gwangi. Only because cowboys versus dinosaurs. It's fucking awesome. Although my favorite Harryhausen Sinbad movie is Seventh Voyage. That's my personal favorite. It has the best score and the best effects and the best action. If you made a big budget King Kong, how would you have handled the dinosaurs? Again, I would just do 1996. Everybody asked me if you had the big budget for it. I would just do 96. And that's all I can really say about that. Do you have any theories on Godzilla King of the Monsters? I'm pretty much going in completely without an opinion, without a preconception, because I want to just have fun with a giant monster movie. I'm working on a King Kong fan film, which is a sequel to 76. Any advice? I would actually say pick up after King Kong Lives. That's all I would say. Pick up after that. But if you're doing sort of an alternate timeline after 76, include Jack Prescott and Dwan. That's all I would say. Let's see. Do you think you shouldn't type in all caps? No. Oh shit, man. I'm sorry, Indonesia Dinosaur 101. That's terrible. That's really bad. Yeah, I know Parkinson's disease is a really bad thing. I'm sorry, man. Guys, go subscribe to him. He needs the support. But yeah, alright, we're on 38 minutes, so I'd say this is going to be another probably hour live stream, so I'd say we got another 20 minutes on us, so hit me with those questions. Speaking of Harryhausen films, do you plan on reviewing any? Yes, that is a great question, Milo. I've been wanting to really get into the Harryhausen films because I think next to Kong, in terms of stop motion, that would be the next, obviously, choice, because I've done a lot of Willis O'Brien's films. I want to do more Harryhausen. The first one I am going to be reviewing, in terms of Harryhausen movies, I know technically Mighty Joe Young was my first one, but Harryhausen movies, the first one I will be tackling is hands down my favorite Harryhausen film, 1 Million Years BC. I will be reviewing that sometime down the road, hopefully this year. It is out of all the Harryhausen films I go back to, that one is my personal favorite. Hang on, we're just getting a little notification there. That is my personal favorite Harryhausen film. It's also one of my favorite all-time dinosaur movies. I know Jurassic Park and King Kong are up there, but 1 Million Years BC is one of my, honestly, one of my personal favorites. The reason is because when I was a kid, I didn't know about the film. The first images I ever saw of 1 Million Years BC was from an old dinosaur documentary VHS tape I had, because I was in a dino kick back then, called Jurassic Giants. And they have this, it's this amazing, opening sequence and everything. It's a great documentary. I think you can find it on YouTube. But it opens with the Allosaurus attack on the Shell tribe in 1 million years BC. And ever since I saw that, I've seen all the footage from that film in countless documentaries and countless educational videos. They were the go-to dinosaur sequences for B-roll for any of those documentaries, and especially before CGI. And to me, I will say this too about 1 million years BC. It has one of the most realistic dinosaur sequences I've ever seen. Like, I keep looking at that, and I know it's stop motion, but it looks so real. And it's the scene between the Triceratops and the Ceratosaurus. The reason it's so realistic to me, the reason it's one of my favorites, dinosaur sequences in cinema history, is because, first of all, the entire sequence is a fun action scene. Just two dinosaurs fighting each other. But the other reason I love it is because it's just the background, the environment they're fighting in. Just pure volcanic, vented ash mountain shit in there. And for me, if it's... You're talking about something where if this was Triceratops and T-Rex going at it, it is the perfect environment. It's the most realistic environment because the late Cretaceous was just a choking hazard. If you watch Walking with Dinosaurs especially. So for me, watching that sequence countless times as a kid, it is one of the most realistic. It is one of the most realistic dinosaur sequences. It's one of my favorite dinosaur sequences as a whole. You know, if King Kong and the T-Rex aren't rivals, it's the T-Rex and the Triceratops. For me, they are the true rivals of of the dinosaur age, for me. And ever since I was a kid. So, I didn't know, I only saw the footage from this documentary. And I didn't discover the film until renting it from, I was at my grandmother's, and I rented it from her local Blockbuster Video. It was on there, it was on VHS. And I rented it, and I watched it all the way through, and I fucking loved it. It was fantastic. And we had a video store actually close to where I live here. And they had the movie on VHS there too, so it was one of my go-to rentals. And sadly, the old guy had to close down the VHS store because video stores were going out of business, and he was the next on the chopping block. And when I heard that, I was devastated as you know, a young kid getting into old movies. So he basically actually gave me the tape as a gift. He gave me the VHS copy he rented out as a gift, and he actually even let me have first dibs on a lot of movies that I wanted. So I took a lot of his movies, and I've kept them for years, honestly, just because they just take me back to the video store days. But yeah, 1 million years BC, and because of that, I discovered his other films. I discovered Valley of Gwangi, Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, Beast from 20,000 Phantoms, all kinds of matter of creature features that Harryhausen did, and I just have massive respect for the guy and what he was able to do back then. So yeah, 1 million years BC will be my first Harryhausen review, if anything. After that, probably Valley of Gwangi, and then after that, it'll slowly create a snowball effect that'll get into maybe the Sinbad movies at some point, and a few other projects. So, it'll come. Like, there won't be a Ray Harryhausen marathon, but they'll start coming down the line where I review other films from Harryhausen's library. Okay, so there's that. Let's see here. Let's ask here a few questions. Yeah, okay, I heard Pokemon Go was good. Okay, something I actually want to bring up. Okay, everybody's into Pokemon Go, right? Everybody's into Pokemon Go. Hang on, we are really out of focus right now. How do we get that? Okay, there we go. Everybody's into Pokemon Go. Can we make a Dragon Ball Go app? Okay, here's what I mean by that. Okay, here's my idea, okay? Imagine an app like Pokemon Go. You know, you collect Pokemon and, you know, you gain points or whatever. Okay. Imagine a Dragon Ball themed app where you go around, like, say there's 7 Dragon Balls, but there's different sets of 7 Dragon Balls scattered all over different areas of wherever you are in terms of your location on Google Maps or whatever. So, the phone becomes the Dragon Radar, okay? The phone becomes the Dragon Radar. And in a few mile radius, there are Dragon Balls scattered all around your area. You've got to collect all 7 Dragon Balls, and when you collect all 7, you gain, you know, either points, or you get a, you get a little prize. You get, like, maybe a gift card or something like that. Because maybe, like, when you gather all 7, you summon the dragon says, "Your wish has been granted," and he gives you a little, like, you know, certificate thing saying, cash this in, you can get a gift card, you know, like, to buy something, and that's your wish. So, I would love to see some sort of Dragon Ball themed scavenger hunt app. I would play that forever. I would love playing that. Have I seen The Incredible Hulk? I've seen the Ang Lee Hulk. I thought it was boring, and I fell asleep through it. And I've never really sat through the MCU Hulk. But that's just me. And in answer to one of your questions about if we'll ever tackle any more Willis O'Brien films, I do have plans. I do want to maybe discuss War Eagles at some point, like Brock mentioned. I do want to maybe talk about Giant Behemoth, Black Scorpion, because that has ties to Kong, and a few other films that Willis O'Brien did. They're definitely on the to-do list. I just don't know when, honestly. Let's see. There's just a lot of questions flying by. Again, guys, thank you so much for sending me questions and stuff. And again, I just want to give one more shout out. If you guys want to go support the channel, go check out our Patreon. $1 or more, will definitely help support the channel. If you want to send us donations, questions, and so on, send it to this address, Big Jack Films. Actually, I'll put it right here. Big Jack Films, P.O. Box 326, Queensville, Ontario, L0G1R0. We'd love to hear from you guys. And Kikyo just fell off my goddamn desk. This figure is so fucking sturdy. Like, this figure is so goddamn sturdy. Okay, so yeah. If you guys want to send us donations, gifts, and send us letters, we'll be glad to respond to you guys and do, essentially a fan mail fanatic. So there's that. So, and again, thank you all for people on the Super Chat. That's great, too. We really appreciate that. And, go subscribe to Rice Duke. Go subscribe to all our buddies, so... the guy who directed the Sonic movie is from the town across from me. I am so sorry. Go talk to him. Go talk to him and show him how you can do a better movie. That's what I would say. Alright, see you later, Smith. Thanks for coming in. What could I do? Have a plan on doing a dinosaur fight, T versus Spinosaurus fight? Just do it. That's what I would say. The dinosaurs in my film are to include Velociraptor, Stegosaurus, Triceratops, giant octopus, and maybe a giant crab. Oh yeah, so make it like a Roger Corman movie? Perfect. I want to see that. That'd be great. Oh wait, no, you're not going? Okay, fine, Samantha. Thank you so much. Yeah, okay, I guess you're staying. Okay, that's cool. And yeah, honestly, Smith, give my shout out to Queen 18, because I know she's been super busy, but tell her I said hi, and tell her I'm gonna try to message her on Discord. So there's that. Do you think Rodan will be a good guy or bad guy in Godzilla King of the Monsters? I don't know. I really don't know. I think he's just gonna be a guy who switches sides and who's the highest bidder. Should I have Inuyasha or Kagome be for Kikyo like Ian Malcolm? I don't know. I really don't know. The question is too, I just want to point this out in Inuyasha Dinosaur 101. When you're writing this story, please try to match continuity. Because continuity is really important. Try to match the continuity of the show itself and where it fits in the timeline. As well, another piece of advice, I know you want to include it on Jurassic Park. That's a given. My advice, actually, don't make it Jurassic Park. Don't make it the theme park. Make it sort of take place before Jurassic Park. Maybe there is an island filled with dinosaurs, and they're kind of the last remaining dinosaurs, but they're not part of Jurassic Park. They're the same dinosaurs, but on an island. Hey, Jack, would you be interested in voicing a Civil War stop-motion character of mine? Try to message you a couple of months. Again, I'll see what I can do. Just message me on Facebook, and I'll get back to you. And also, Brock doing a prequel series. Yeah, I do want to discuss more backstories to my show. You will definitely be seeing that down the road. You'll definitely be seeing more backstory to my show. And that will be coming in the 100th episode. Yeah, definitely go with that. Make it where it's like, maybe it is like the prehistoric times, but they're the dinosaurs you see in Jurassic Park. That's what I would do in Inuyasha Dinosaur 101. And you know what? Because the reason I put this hairband back was because I was just drawing it out. I meant Star Wars prequels. Okay, yeah, we are planning, we're going to start shooting the prequels, Brock, on Sunday. We're going to start shooting that. Our first location will be a desert planet. Whether it be Tatooine or Jakku, I'm not going to say. But those are definitely going to be coming down the road. We're going to start shooting Sunday, hopefully. But yeah, so I basically did put my hair back because I was letting it dry. But now that it's out, let's get that gorgeous hair. Let's get that gorgeous hair out. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's great. There's the long hair. There's the hair of a warrior you guys like. But yeah, actually, one thing I do want to point out, I kind of been watching it a couple of times, and I really like it. I still love this movie. Would anybody be okay? Like, would anybody be all right if I maybe reviewed something like Braveheart? Because I fucking love Braveheart, and the fact that there's the Robert the Bruce movie coming out soon, I'm thinking at some point I do want to tackle it. I'm thinking next year I want to do kind of a sort of a Braveheart triple feature. You know, review the original Braveheart, Robert the Bruce, and then the second Robert the Bruce with the original actor from Braveheart. Um, Mike D wants to make a Harryhausen style Godzilla prequel about the prehistoric times. Okay, again, I did say this already in the video in the live stream tonight. Is that if they do that, I want it to be where Godzilla is a Godzillasaurus and King Ghidorah maybe like I don't know shows up later or something. I don't know. A Jurassic Park prequel sounds interesting. Yeah, like that's the thing I was actually kind of wondering because that's the thing I hate about the new sequels is that they don't do much world building and continuity. So let's see a backstory what happened to the Pteranodons at the end of the third film. Let's see how Isla Sorna turned out before it went to shit. Let's see, you know, them going in and raiding the original park and rebuilding it. Let's see those stories. I think those will be interesting. Hell, let's see where, like, Alan Grant's been. You know, that's kind of the stuff I would want to see. Anyone ever notice that Jack kind of looks like Shaggy with glasses? Like Scoob, I do. Oh my god. Oh, why I have the voice down, man. Oh man, I'm gonna have a Dr. Pepper. Man, I am one sad dog food eating hippie. Zoink Scoob, we gotta get out of this live stream. Reggie, real, Oh man, I've thought about cosplaying Shaggy. I've really thought about that. And you know what? You bring up Scooby-Doo. Something I've thought about doing at some point for like a Halloween special is have a Halloween special. Obviously, you do like maybe like a monster film or something like a classic monster. But at some point, I want to do something where we spoof a Scooby-Doo chase in a haunted house. Because I think one of the ways, because you know how you always find inspirations for writing your stories and stuff. A big one that kind of helped was one of the few sparks was there was an episode of Johnny Bravo called Bravo Dooby Doo, which was literally a Johnny Bravo Scooby-Doo crossover, and it was fantastic, and it has probably my favorite Scooby-Doo chase scene. Part of me wants to spoof that. Part of me wants to do a Halloween special where we're chased by a monster and we're just like, and we're literally running in the same place and the background's like completely the same, and we just have like this old like hippie music playing in the background. But I want to do a Scooby-Doo chase, like a live action one at some point, you know, just make it where it's like, it's the classic cliche of that kind of stuff. That'd be actually kind of fun. Just have this clusterfuck mess of just me and the guys along with all these anime characters just running around like the doors and shit like Scooby-Doo. That'd be fucking hilarious. Okay, so we're getting to the last 10 minutes of our live stream. So I just want to basically answer 3 more questions, and then we're going to be wrapping up. I think that the Nostalgia Critic 1998 episode with the Mystery Street crossover, that was good. That was funny. Like Zoink Scoob, look out! It's Godzilla! Holy shit! Like, you said it, Scoob. When will your review be up? The 100th episode? It's gonna be coming soon. I'm still working on it. I'm still doing last minute tweaks. That will be coming down the line, but I'm gonna start getting back to work tomorrow, basically. But yeah, they'll be done when they're done, essentially. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, thank you, Smith. Yeah, I've been really practicing my Shaggy, man. I figured if I had anything, I'd be him, because at least then he just does nothing but eat and run away from things. He doesn't really do shit. We'll love a universe of monsters where monsters are zombies like Rodan's. Okay, a zombie kaiju verse would be amazing. I would love, like, Shin Godzilla, essentially. Okay, so let's get 2 more questions out there, and then we're gonna call it a night. So, fire away last 2 questions. Also, I'm thinking about seeing Aladdin. I don't know if it'd be up my alley, but maybe. Your jock and voice at Anime North was pretty much good, too. Lawrence the Summer! We gotta be out of here. You were at Anime North. You were at Anime North, Curious Man. Thank you so much. Actually, I'm really surprised, you liked that. I wasn't too sure who at the con, but I did have my jock and puppet out, and it was fantastic. But again, thank you so much, man. Yeah, I worked hard on that thing. Okay, second question. How do you think Kong King of the Apes can be redeemed? It can't. That show was fucking garbage. And I really did not like it. And I'm not doing season 2. Nor am I doing that crossover with Tarzan. Because you know what? They had their chance back in the 40s. They could have made this amazing, and they fucked it up by giving it to the stupid cartoon. I will not be discussing Kong King of the Apes any further, because my first review is all that you need to know. It's fun. It's not as good as the original. Also later, guys. All right, thanks for coming, Brock. And by the way, guys, go subscribe to Brock, because his movie reviews are actually really good. He's a really good upcoming film online critic. He's now part of our website. As he put in his video, you know, kid, you're an Avenger now. That's kind of how I basically did it. He does a lot of fan films and stuff, and he reviews a lot of fan films, and he reviewed our movie, and it's fucking hilarious. It's probably funnier than my review. Definitely go subscribe to him and check him out. So, one more question, and then we are calling it a night, because I am tired, and I'm still recovering from Anime North. So fire that last question, and I will pick. Any minute now. And that's not a question. That's a request. Okay, last question. I'm actually gonna go to Smith Wilson. Have you ever thought about reviewing Kong on the Planet of the Apes? Yes and no. I think that will probably come up in my King Kong Books episode, but in terms of doing a review of it, I kind of already did. If you guys go check out my crossover I did with Jim Supreme, who does these the show Geeking Out Weekly, where he reviews comic books. We did it. We were at Toronto Comic Con about a year ago, and we did talk about the first issue of Kong and Planet of the Apes, and I actually kind of was very intrigued by it as sort of a what-if story. It was kind of fascinating. I had a lot of fun reading it. So, that's it for all our questions. So again, thank you guys so much for this live stream. We really appreciate all the support we've been getting. Don't worry, the 100th episode is coming soon. We're still working on last-minute tweaks to at least... It's basically going to be 3 parts. That's all I can say right now. It's going to be 3 parts, and that's when it's going to be coming out. So, again, guys, thank you so much for this live stream. Of course, if you have any more questions, let us know in the comments. If you want to support this channel, please do on our Patreon. $1 or more will get you early access and rewards. We're going to start working a bit more on better rewards for the system. Again, thank you so much for everybody who donated to Super Chat tonight. That was very fantastic. All the money's going to go help support the show. And, of course, if you want to send us donations, gifts, and letters, you can at this address, Big Jack Films, P.O. Box 326, Queensville, Ontario, L0G1R0. We'd love to hear from you guys, and we'll do a fan mail fanatics. But, yeah, thank you guys so much. Of course, like, comment, subscribe, share this video, of course. Share all my videos, actually. And we will see you guys later. This is Big Jack Films signing off, and I'm tired. I have to recover still from Anime North. We're going to get back to work tomorrow. And as Elton John says, and I guess that's why they call it the blues.